In the golden twilight of Rome's empire, one man stood as a beacon of wisdom and virtue. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king. Born in 121 AD into a prominent Roman family, Marcus was not originally destined to rule. Yet even in his youth, he displayed a seriousness that set him apart. He was drawn not to the trappings of wealth or power, but to the pursuit of knowledge. His early education was steeped in the teachings of Greek and Roman philosophy, particularly the doctrines of Stoicism, a school of thought that emphasized self-discipline, virtue, and the acceptance of life's hardships. Marcus's life took a decisive turn when Emperor Hadrian recognized his potential. Hadrian ensured that Marcus's education prepared him for great responsibility, appointing him as a future heir to the imperial throne. This path became clearer when Marcus was adopted by Antoninus Pius, Hadrian's chosen successor. Under Antoninus's guidance, Marcus was groomed for leadership, learning the intricacies of governance, diplomacy, and military command. But what truly distinguished Marcus was his character. Even as a young man, he was deeply introspective, often retreating to study philosophy and reflect on the nature of power and duty. In 161 AD, Marcus Aurelius ascended the throne, stepping into a role that would define his life and legacy. At the time, Rome was at a crossroads. The Pax Romana, Rome's golden age of peace and stability, was fraying under the pressures of external and internal threats. To the north, Germanic and other barbarian tribes tested the empire's borders, seeking to exploit any weakness. In the east, the Parthian Empire loomed as a persistent rival, challenging Rome's dominance in the region. Closer to home, a devastating plague, possibly the Antonine Plague, ravaged the empire, decimating populations and weakening its economy and military. Despite these formidable challenges, Marcus Aurelius faced them with remarkable composure. His Stoic philosophy became not only his personal guide, but the foundation of his leadership. He did not see power as a privilege, but as a profound responsibility. Amid the chaos, Marcus Aurelius chronicled his thoughts in a private journal, never intended for public view. This collection of writings, now known as Meditations, offers an intimate glimpse into the mind of a ruler striving to live virtuously in a world fraught with uncertainty. Unlike the proclamations or decrees of other emperors, Meditations was devoid of grandeur or self-promotion. Instead, it was a humble and deeply personal reflection on life's impermanence, the nature of duty, and the challenges of leadership. Composed in Greek, the language of philosophy, it revealed Marcus's struggle to align his actions with his ideals. He wrote of resilience in the face of adversity, the importance of self-control, and the need to accept what lies beyond one's control. You have power over your mind, not outside events, he reminded himself. Realize this, and you will find strength. These writings were not abstract musings, but practical tools for navigating the turbulent realities of his reign. Marcus Aurelius understood that even the emperor, the most powerful man in the world, was bound by the same universal laws as the humblest of his subjects. As a ruler, Marcus Aurelius walked the delicate line between the ideals of philosophy and the harsh realities of governance. From the outset, his reign was unique. He shared power with his adopted brother, Lucius Verus, in an unprecedented co-rule designed to provide stability during uncertain times. The arrangement was practical and symbolic, reflecting Marcus's belief in collaboration and shared responsibility. Together, the co-emperors confronted significant challenges, including a grueling campaign against the Parthian Empire in the east, where Lucius played a leading role, and a devastating plague that followed the returning troops, decimating the population and weakening the empire's resilience. But the partnership was not destined to last. When Lucius Verus died unexpectedly, likely of a stroke, Marcus Aurelius was left to bear the weight of the empire alone. Yet, he did not shrink from his responsibilities. In the years that followed, Marcus spent much of his reign far from the marble halls of Rome, leading his armies on the front lines. His primary focus was defending the empire's northern borders against the relentless incursions of Germanic tribes and other barbarian forces along the Danube frontier. These campaigns were long and grueling, pushing both Marcus and the empire's resources to their limits. Unlike many rulers of his time, Marcus sought no personal glory in these military endeavors. His goal was not conquest, but the preservation of peace and stability for the Roman people. The victories he achieved were hard-won, the fruit of strategic brilliance and relentless determination. Yet peace came at a great cost, both financially and personally. The constant state of war drained the empire's treasury, forcing difficult decisions about how to fund the defense of its borders without overburdening the populace. Marcus refused to impose harsh taxes or exploit the provinces unnecessarily, demonstrating his deep care for the well-being of his subjects. Amid the pressures of war and governance, Marcus Aurelius faced another set of challenges closer to home: his family. As a father, he was deeply devoted, yet he bore the heartbreak of loss repeatedly. Of the many children he and Faustina the Younger had together, at least 13, only a handful survived to adulthood, a harsh reminder of the fragility of life, even in the imperial household. Among those who survived was his son Commodus, the boy who would one day inherit the throne. Marcus's decision to name Commodus his successor was a significant departure from the tradition of adopting a capable heir outside the family, a practice that had ensured strong leadership for generations. Historians have long debated Marcus's motives for breaking with this precedent. Some argue it was an act of paternal love, a desire to preserve the Antonine dynasty through his bloodline. Others suggest it was a pragmatic choice made under the pressures of securing a smooth succession during turbulent times. Whatever his reasons, the decision would cast a long shadow over his legacy. Commodus's reign, marked by indulgence, corruption, and chaos, stood in stark contrast to his father's measured and principled rule. It would plunge Rome into a period of instability and signal the beginning of the empire's slow decline. In 180 AD, while still on his campaign against the Germanic tribes, Marcus Aurelius died. Some speculated about foul play, suggesting that Commodus may have caused the philosopher king's death, while others believed the emperor became ill, most likely from the same epidemic that had decimated his empire. Whichever it was, in his final days, he personified the Stoic ideals he held dear, leaving a legacy not only as a great emperor, but also as a philosopher whose wisdom would inspire future generations. Marcus Aurelius was more than an emperor. He was a model of humility and wisdom in a world of power and excess.